Hi, and welcome to Season 2 of Big Sound Small Town, the podcast that spotlights the talented and diverse musicians in small towns and communities. This season we're branching out to include the community of people who make it possible for musicians to be able to perform their music, the producers, the recording engineers, the venue owners, and many others, and as always, the small town musicians. Remember, small town doesn't mean small talent. Hear their stories. My introduction to Aftan C. Smith is different than anyone else's. It's funny and it's not. I had a friend die, and I go to the funeral, and it was a great funeral, but the band was so good, and the star of the band was Aftan C. Fabulous singer. She took control of the service. I was just so impressed I had to seek her out. So I did, and come to find out, she is an ultra modern recording artist, businesswoman, just a very interesting person. So check this side out. Thank you. Today on Big Sound Small Town, We're in Aftan Ci Studios in 7 East in beautiful downtown Shelby, North Carolina. And I am here with Aftan Smith.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm real good.
Good, good.
I am glad that you took the time to come do this.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Well, it's you were hard to track down.
Oh man, I find that so hard to believe. I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, you need to. You need to because you're very talented, and you have a unique story. Because I have done a lot, and I've played funerals myself, but I have never seen somebody command a funeral like I saw you. I mean, it's different. It's different than I'll go and play a song. She just brought the house down.
Well, listen, I could not do any of that without Genesis Funeral Service and Cremation. Like, I love them to death. They employ me, and whenever there is a funeral, and it's time, that really, really sensitive time when it's time to close the coffin, I'll come from the back singing something.
Right.
And my job is to ease the pain of the family. So I have to command the attention of everybody, and I have to, evoke that sense of everything's going to be all right.
Right.
It might not be easier tomorrow, but eventually it won't feel as bad.
Now, do you have like a list that you use to do that by, or do people tell you what they like, or?
Well, it's a few different things that go into it. Most times it's just whatever I feel.
That's great.
Whatever I think. Whatever I anticipate the family and the crowd being able to.
Can you read that with the family a little bit?
Sometimes. I can sometimes go into a building, be it a church, or sometimes it's at the funeral home, and I can kind of gauge by the age.
Even before you ever
I sing.
Right.
I'll go in and I'll take into consideration the age of the deceased.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so,
it's a different set of this.
Right. Just it kind of depends. And most times the musicians are interchangeable, just like the singers are interchangeable.
I was getting ready to ask you about it. You have the same people you work with there?
Not always.
Not always.
Sometimes the church's musician is there, and so I conference with them beforehand to see what they know that I might go over well with the crowd. Sometimes if there's not a musician, I can call on one of my guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I appreciate Genesis for allowing me to do that.
They do that.
Absolutely.
Do they have people they use like other than you? I mean, do they have other band members that they?
They have a roster of singers. Yeah. They also have a roster of musicians, and they allow the singers to kind of choose which musician comes, because everybody kind of plays differently, and they mesh differently. Yeah. So I work together with the musicians, and I typically think about a couple of different songs, and depending on how it's moving and how it's going, if they're not with the song by the time I get to the chorus, I might switch it over to a different song, because that's my job. Right. But I wouldn't be able to do it without Genesis, and I really appreciate them.
How did you get started doing that?
So Genesis is a company, a mortuary that was founded by two brothers, Todd Griffin and Daryl Griffin. And Todd messaged me one day. He was like, "Hey, would you be interested in coming to sing at a funeral?" And I was like, okay. It was the first one I had ever done.
How old were you then?
I never.
You have to give me a specific age. Were you young at that time?
So let's just say it was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Maybe 2015-ish, 2015, 16, something like that. And
you weren't like Mikhail, where they're bringing him out to play at everything from when he was like 10.
Well, I also sang with my family's gospel group.
Okay, that's where I was going with that too. I kind of knew that because I did a little research.
But Todd invited me to come to the funeral, and he was like, just read the crowd. You can do whatever song you want to do. We trust you. We've seen you. You've been doing this for years. You know how to do it. Just go out there and do your thing. Your job is to ease, kind of ease the pain and make them smile and make them feel better.
Were you nervous the first time?
Absolutely. I'm nervous every time. Really? Every time it's time for me to walk up on stage and grab a mic, I am nervous.
Really?
It does not matter. I am always nervous.
You'd never know that.
But as soon as I hear the music and I open my mouth, everything's all right.
It's the music.
It's the music.
It's the blessing and the curse.
Absolutely,
because
absolutely.
Then you wind up, the curse part is you're my age and you're still trying to play music. I mean, and people think that they just don't realize the time that you put in to learn to do this.
Correct.
I mean, how When did you know you could sing?
So my father is a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Gary Smith. He's a pastor with the AME Zion Church. My mom is also a reverend, and they've been married for a long time, and he's been pastoring all my life. So I didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
I had to sing. I started singing when I was 3, and I started leading songs at like 7, 8, or 9-ish. And then my mom, all my life, has always had this gospel group, the Keys of Harmony Gospel Singers. We're still singing today. We just celebrated 39 years of singing on last Sunday, yes. But when I turned 15, they needed another singer. So she gave me the mic and pushed me in my back. You're going to sing. And I mean, every year I would quit. I would quit every year. This is going to be my last anniversary. I'm not doing this anymore. And they all, the group is made up of my mom's sister Dolores, and my mom's other sister Sharon, and myself. So it's just us. So they don't pay me any attention, right?
Yeah, because they know you're
That's
coming
fine.
back.
You're coming right back. And they pushed me out there, and they made me sing, and they made me learn how to interact with the crowd. They made me learn how to be charismatic and carry. They made me learn how. So I wouldn't be who I am today if it were not for them pushing me in my back and making me do it.
You also have, which is very important for every musician that I've ever known, you always had parental support, didn't you?
Absolutely, and I still have it.
And see, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Because it makes music so much harder.
Absolutely.
When someone, I hear these stories. I grew up in a musical family, so it's similar, but I hear people say, they said, you ever going to get a real job? Or what are you going to do? It's fun for now, but,
Well, I'm also a teacher by trade. I teach America's children. Yeah. So it was a transition to get everybody to understand, hey, teaching is my job. Mm-hmm. Music is my career. Yeah. And so now we have that understanding. And so everything is fine. But it was still a transitional period because if you didn't grow up as a musician yourself, if you're not currently a musician who that's how you make your living and that's how you eat, then you don't really understand it.
True.
It's a hobby, it's a hobby. But I appreciate my parents' support and all of my family's support. I mean, listen, the Keys of Harmony, they have my back in so many different ways. If I need something, it's always one of them 3 that are always there to give to help me with whatever I need. Call me randomly, hey, you need to, it's gonna be all right.
That's good.
Hold your head up and keep on going. You're gonna be fine. Go do your job.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So at some point, we'll move it back past that. Now, did you pursue, like when you were in school? Did you sing?
I have only ever sang with the Keys of Harmony Gospel Singers. Okay. In school, I was in the band. I played clarinet. I even had a scholarship to college to play clarinet. So I was always in the band, but I was never in the chorus.
Okay, but that's okay because you still got that musical background coming from that, which helps a whole lot.
Certainly.
That is really a good deal. Now I'm sitting here in your studio, and I'm impressed. And you put this together yourself, right?
I did. I appreciate it.
I'm impressed. It's good stuff, high end. Was that hard for you to learn?
So, funny story. The Keys of Harmony, we went into the studio in 2014, 15 and started recording our album. Yeah. And our producers, who are from Shelby, one of them, his name is Marquise Bridges, and he's right now in LA with the big dogs out there producing. And also Dwayne Spikes, he goes by D-Rose. I know him as Pooh. They're both from over here in Waco. And they started to blossom and bloom, and they had to move away. Well, it was time for me to work on my solo stuff, which is not gospel, it is R&B, pop, soul. And so Marquise, we call him Keith, he was like, well, listen, just record it yourself, send it to me, I'll mix it and master it.
That's the hard part anyway.
Actually, he gave me some people who could record it for me, but either their prices were too high or it never meshed.
Well, you have to get the times right.
Correct.
I mean, I've done a lot of I've worked in studios as a studio musician, and it's hard because if you're not there, they'll get somebody else.
Absolutely.
So it's better if you can do it yourself.
Yeah. So what I did was I went online and I found Studio One artist, and I got it, and I fiddled with it for about 6 months to a year. Then I was going to build a vocal booth inside of my little apartment, which is like 3 blocks from here. It's not far. And my uncle, I went over it with my uncle because he's, he can build stuff.
Right.
And his name is Coleman Hunt, by the way.
Yeah,
And
yeah, is,
and and he said, "Girl, what are you doing?" No, we're not going to do it that way. So he made me keep on looking. I came up with the design. I had everything laid out from A to Z. He came into my apartment and built a vocal booth for me.
No.
And so my vocal booth is a 4x4, and it's 8 feet wide. We have like 13 feet ceilings.
Oh, that's good.
So when it was time for me to move out of there with the studio, because I was recording myself, I was recording other people.
Yeah, I mean,
if you've heard of the Stellar Awards, one of the artists who's nominated for a Stellar right now, her name is Jada Redmond. I recorded all of her stuff
that's cool.
in my little apartment, and we sent it off to have it mixed and mastered and stuff like that. But when it was time to move, funny story behind that too, I can't move that big old vocal booth. So we got here, and I just had to treat the whole room.
No, it's treated well.
So I wanted to treat the room so that I can record any instrument. If I wanted to bring in a full set of drums, and I wanted to be able to do everything in one space. So
that's great.
Here we are.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we're going to talk about making that transition from gospel music to, I guess the basis of what you do would be R&B. But I've seen the list. There's stuff on there that's not R&B. But
Yeah.
was that a hard transition? I mean, how did you figure out? Because that's a lot of songs to learn.
Well, the way it happened, our lead guitar player for the Keys of Harmony, Earl Vernon, he has a band, and the name of his band is Earl V and Company, and they were doing a wedding, and someone said, "Hey, well, why don't you ask her if she wants to come?" So this was like 2013. He was like, "Hey, you want to come sing with my band for this wedding reception?" And I was like, "Okay." Gave me about 5 or 10 songs, brought me in, and I did those songs, and I've been doing it ever since. But if it were not for him, I would not be here.
So he gives you stuff, you go home, listen to it, and learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have my handy dandy iPad. So, if anything goes haywire, if I just can't remember, glance down, keep it moving.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, did you have to, well, that's the great thing today. You can find words.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid growing up, I had to drop needles to learn.
Right.
To,
yeah, and back then I didn't have an iPad. Actually, I had to go find the lyrics and print them off.
Yes.
I had them in a notebook, and I had tabs for each song. But yeah, now today's society we have iPads.
You do, and
it's great.
Do you have all those songs in your head, or do you still have to rely on iPad?
The majority of them are in my head, but I keep all of them on my iPad because I don't sing all of them for every event. Right. So sometimes I have to go back and refresh myself.
I'm doing a solo show, and I don't do a lot of those anymore, but tomorrow I had to go through and actually make me a set list and give me some of the things I have to give myself a clue of what it is, because I don't do these all the time.
Gotcha.
And it's like, I get stuck right there and can't remember the words, so I'll give myself a little. But usually I don't have to do my own stuff. I spend most of my time playing with other people these days.
There you go. Well, see, and on mine, I put the title of the song, the artist of the song, the key we do it in, the first note the bass player plays, or whoever has something different, and as far as my band is concerned, who's singing it.
That also works good, I guess, if you need to ever substitute somebody in, because you got it in the key and you got it in what kicks it off.
Certainly.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's pretty organized.
I try to stay organized.
I can tell.
It's the easiest thing. It makes me much more efficient.
Well, and
faster.
That's one of the good things too. You have it down there by who it's by. I did notice that. So you give a shout out to the person whose song it is.
Certainly, the original artist.
Yep.
That is always definitely important for me. So yeah, I got all the stuff for the studio, researching on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and D Rose came in, we co-wrote, we just did it all in the apartment, sent it to Keith, he mixed and mastered it, sent it back. So now my original music is on iTunes and all over the internet. And so on my website, which is aftanci.com, you see a cover tunes list as well as a list for my original music. So I'm trying to make sure I lend the client, whoever's booking me, whether you're booking me to do a cover show or you're booking me you can see everything that I can do.
The band play both?
So my list and the band's list we differ just slightly, but the band can play everything that's on my list.
They can play your songs too.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to this next part.
Okay.
And it's about writing.
Okay.
We're going to there. What kind of process is that for you?
For me, sometimes I dream of songs
Yeah, I do understand.
in the middle of the night, and when I wake up, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so I try to keep my phones close by so that I can do a quick voice memo, or sometimes I'm driving and a melody will come to me and I'll sing it. Sometimes I'm just randomly writing.
You have slips of paper with stuff on them. Yeah,
notebooks with stuff just
yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah.
And so then when it's time for me and D Rose to come together, I can let him know what my ideas are. And or I also have another musician friend. He's my MD for the band, for my Aftan Ci as well as for Ace Party Band.
Okay.
His name is Jerry Brentley, and we've written some stuff together as well. So I have my ideas here, and we're able to kind of play off.
So you do co-write too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. That's actually, sometimes I think that people that don't co-write miss a lot of good stuff that they could have. I mean, you can only get so much by yourself.
Right.
I also have this weird thing about each instrument if you pick up an instrument, say I pick up that guitar, for me, that's probably got a song in it. But now if you play that all the time, you might be getting all the songs out of it.
Gotcha.
But it may not either.
Absolutely.
So you never know.
Never know.
I pick up instruments sometimes just to get that vibe to see if something will come out of it. So, all right. So, what do you have lined up coming up? I mean, what's the future look like?
Well, tomorrow, actually,
Okay.
I am at McBoney's in Charlotte. Saturday, the band is in Charleston,
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
I love the town.
Yeah. New Year's Eve, I'm at the Peninsula Yacht Club, I think is the name of it, in Cornelius. The first of the year, the band we're doing the Divine Nine Party over at the LeGrand Center. We got the NC Band Festival.
No shortage of bookings, I see.
We're 4th of July. We're gonna be up in Danville, Virginia. We've got a lot of stuff.
That's another thing I want people to know, that you travel, and that's hard. That's harder than what people realize.
It's very hard. And I also play on Sunday mornings. I play the
so
keyboard.
You get back and get.
I get back. I always have to drive back in for at Unlimited Praise Ministries, which is right up in Waco. I play keyboard there every Sunday, and so. Teach Monday through Friday, most times gigs Friday, Saturday, play on Sunday, sing with Keys and Harmony Sunday night. Wake up on Monday, do it all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't ever get in touch with you.
Oh, my.
That's a great life, though. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
I appreciate it.
And the voice. Does it go? Does it ever leave you?
Sometimes it gets a little weak and weary, and that's when I know I need to rest.
Yeah.
But being a teacher, I talk all day.
Yeah,
and then multiple rehearsals during the week and the evenings, and singing all weekend. So.
Okay. You sing harmony, I guess, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that you're the front person that does all of that, but singing harmony is a gift also.
Is it?
And it comes, yes.
I've just always been able to do it. Like, I don't.
Oh, that is actually, in a lot of ways, that's as much a gift or more as being able to have that great voice that you have.
Yeah.
People have a hard time singing harmony. They want to drift, or if you can't hear it, makes it hard to sing harmony.
Yeah. Now, there are some very intricate harmonies, like things
sure
that Prince have written and Michael
yeah.
Jackson, even Beyonce, because it's, when you go into record, I'm not just recording 3 parts.
Right. Yeah,
even on my
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
My original music, I've got like 12 background parts going on, and they all intermingle and they all fit perfectly together.
You have to teach the harmonies to your band.
We teach each other sometimes, and a lot of times we come back in. We all come in and we just know where we're going.
That's
because
good.
we've been singing together for a little while, so we know. Yeah.
Well, this is just great. Have I missed anything?
Oh, I do have a party band. We've talked around it, but not explicitly said it. So, my name is Aftan Ci, and I have I'm an R&B pop soul artist, independent artist. I have music out on iTunes and all over the internet. You can find me on social media, which is where you found me, on Facebook. It's Aftan Ci Music, AFTANCI Music. And on Instagram, it's @AftanC. And my website is www.aftanc.com. And I also am the owner, operator, and manager, band leader of Ace Party Band. It's my baby. And we are a part of the Brio Live entertainment family, so it's awesome. But you can also find us online on Facebook at Ace Party Band, Instagram at Ace Party Band, website at Ace Party Band, or on the BrioLive.com website. Our agent is Abby. She'd love to speak to you regarding the band. And so the beauty of it is I get to go out and be me wherever I go.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
And it's beautiful because I can sing at church to inspire and empower. I can sing at funerals to uplift. I can sing as me to just be whoever I am feeling like I want to be that day. And I can also sing with the party band. We're Top 40's variety cover band. We do everything. And the beauty is that I can go out with me and a keyboard player, me and a 3-piece. My band, we range from a 3-piece all the way to a 10 to 13-piece. You know, we got the horn section and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, you know.
Well, I think you have a really good deal going on. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
It's so much more than what people see as just a singer. You know.
Absolutely. And even here at the studio, I have an on-site engineer.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Do you record for other people?
I do, but my schedule is so hectic that I can do it. I'll just tell you, Studio One is my favorite. Studio One is my favorite dog, but I also run Logic and Pro Tools.
Okay.
And I also have an on-site engineer. You know, if someone comes in and they want to do it and I just cannot, he's got it. He can do everything. Great. He's got a degree in it. He's great. His name is Daniel. So.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you're a busy person, and I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to do this.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.